Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by my channel today. We are going to be making some reclaimed wood pumpkins. I have a wood stove in my home and we have a kindling bin. So any type of old wood building supplies or fence posts or anything that will help us start the wood stove in the colder months, we put in there. So I go out rummaging around because I want to make some wood pumpkins. I've seen a bunch of YouTubers make them and they're really, really cute. So I decided I wanted to make something similar. So I'm out there rummaging around and I found something that looked like a square wooden piece of, I don't know what this was, some type of building material. I asked my husband, can you cut that for me in some different size lengths? He's like, sure. And he comes into the house and guess what? I expected to see them in little squares, but they weren't. When he brought the pieces in, I was extremely appreciative. However, they were no longer in the little square block form. He actually had trimmed off the sides of the wood, which wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but I'm like, hey, I'll go ahead and work with this. He also was kind enough to drill a little hole in the top, like so, and that is where we're going to put the pumpkin stem. This was the final result of working with the little rounded pieces of wood. Basically just some wood and some items from the Dollar Tree, and I did find this at a thrift store for $1, but you know what? You don't even need to put a base. You can just use the little pumpkins anywhere you want on their own. I hope you enjoyed this video, but before we start, I just wanted to say that if you have not yet subscribed, it's super easy and I would love to have you as a member of my YouTube family. All you need to do is just click that little red button below, and if you'd like to be notified every time I upload a new video, just click the little bell that's next to it. I'm starting with a 7x9 wooden crate that I thrifted for $1. The reclaimed wood pumpkins are measured at 3, 4.5, and 6 inches tall. You will also need a hole drilled in the top of each of them to place the little stem. I'm using a Spanish olive green, parchment, golden brown, and white for my colors. Some Mod Podge, some jute, a heavyweight brown paper bag. I got mine at the grocery store. I picked up a package of these little metal signs at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use the word harvest. And some pencils that still have the shiny finish on them. I cut 3 strips out of my paper bag, 1 at 4 inches and 2 at 3 inches. I then cut each of them into an 8-inch strip. Once they were all cut and ready, I then painted both sides with my Spanish green paint. I chose to paint my stems in the green color, but you can paint them any color that you'd like. While your painted strips are drying, it's now time to cut the jute. I cut 2 60-inch pieces of jute. I left 1 strand natural, and then using the same green paint, I painted the other strand. Once the green strand had dried, we're then going to make tendrils using our Mod Podge. All you need to do is take a little piece of tape and tape the beginning of the jute at the top of the pencil and then wind it down, trying to get as much as you can on the pencil. You're going to do this for both the natural jute and the painted jute, trying to get as much on each pencil as you can, and then all you do is just cut the residue off and begin the same process onto the other pencil. Don't forget to tape the top and the bottom of the jute onto the pencil. Once that's complete, you're going to use a brush and paint Mod Podge onto the jute. You're going to do this for both the natural jute and the painted jute. Once they're complete, just place them aside to dry. Using the same green paint, I'm now going to paint the harvest sign out of my Dollar Tree pack. Now it's time to paint the pumpkins. I'm using golden brown to paint my 6-inch pumpkin. I'm then using parchment or an off-white color to paint my 4.5-inch pumpkin. And for my last 3-inch pumpkin, I'm using white. To make the pumpkin stems, you're going to just take one of the sheets of painted paper bag and then roll it really, really tightly. Once it's all rolled tightly together, just pinch the bottom of it between your fingers. Now, using your scissors, you're going to cut on the inside edge of the roll. This will eventually become the pumpkin leaf, so depending on how many leaves you would like on top of your pumpkin is how many cuts you will make on this roll. This is my 4-inch paper roll, and I'm going to use it on my 6-inch pumpkin. So I've made 5 cuts to make 5 leaves. Once the leaves are bent down, you're now going to use your glue gun and put a little dab of glue in the drilled out center hole. Then just slide the base of your paper roll into the top of the drilled out hole. I then twisted the top of the paper at an angle, giving it the appearance of a pumpkin stem. I'm following the same instructions for the 2 smaller pumpkins, but for these 2, I decided to give each of them 3 leaves. When making the pumpkins, I just decided to go with the 3 or the 5, but you can use as many leaves as you'd like. Once they were all complete, I used my golden brown paint, and just taking my paintbrush, I dabbed a little brown here and there on the green stems. This is completely optional. I just like the way the brown paint gave each of the stems a more realistic appearance. I'm now going to add some accents by using the polka dot and the chevron burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. This was super easy. All I needed to do was wrap the ribbon around the base of the pumpkin and then hot glue it to the back. My ribbons have a design on them, but I think plain ribbons would look really cute on these pumpkins too. Once all your ribbons on your pumpkins are complete, it's now time to paint the wooden base. I'm using my parchment paint, and this actually matches the 4-inch pumpkin. I painted the inside and the outside only because I didn't want any of the natural colored wood to be showing through. Once the box has dried, we're now going to use our E6000 and attach the harvest sign. I just followed around the back of the letters with my E6000 and then attached it to the front of the wooden box. The jute is finally dry on the pencils, and now it's time to make the tendrils for the pumpkins. Because the pencils are new and they're shiny, to release the jute, if it is sticking, sometimes it doesn't, all you need to do is work it back and forth on the pencil, and then it should be able to slide right off. Don't forget to remove the tape from the top and the bottom of the pencil before you start to work the jute back and forth. Now it's time to attach the tendrils to the 3 pumpkins. It's super easy. You just basically decide how long you want the tendrils to hang on either side of the pumpkin. I'm using a piece of green and a piece of natural jute for all of the pumpkins. If it seemed a little longer on one side than I wanted, I just gave it a little trim with my scissors. Once I was happy where my tendrils were placed, I used my glue gun to attach them to the back of the stem. Now we're going to turn the little strips of paper that we cut on the stem into leaves. And to do this, all you need to do is use your glue gun and place a little dab of glue against the base of the stem
and then just fold the piece of paper under, making a loop so it looks like a leaf. You're going to follow the same instructions for each of the pumpkins. If you have any tendril pieces left over, you can always add them to the base of the stem by simply using some hot glue and attaching them. I decided to add some decorative leaves to my project. I'm using 5 Dollar Tree leaves in a green and a brown colored pencil. Using my white paint, I put a coat on the front and the back of the leaves. Once they were dry, I used my brown pencil to outline the natural veins in the leaf. Once that was complete, I used my green pencil and just kind of accented the outside edges of the leaf. After I was done, I used my finger to just kind of rub it all over the leaf and soften the edges of the pencil. It gives it just a hint of color, and that is exactly what I was looking for. I did this for all 5 of the leaves, and then the project was almost complete. The last step to complete this project was to place all the pumpkins on top of the wooden base. And then, of course, the finishing touch were the accented leaves. And now your project is complete.
Thanks so much for stopping by. I always have a blast when we're together. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you know what to do. Just click that little red subscribe button below, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.